So here we are, and good evening, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, according to your position in the planet Earth, or if you are listening live to our conversation, or you are following us on the Triennale Milano YouTube channel. My name is Marco Sanmicheli, and I'm responsible of the international relations of this institution, and I also take care of the Design Museum. I'm here to introduce you to the 6th episode of New European Bauhaus, Triennale Milano bilateral meetings with the European cultural representations in Milano. This episode is dedicated to Spain, and it is in collaboration with Istituto Cervantes in Milano. Since its foundation, Triennale Milano has hosted the research and the languages of the international creative community, and since 1933, it has been part of the BIE, the Bureau International des Expositions in Paris, where every 3 years it organizes an international exhibition, which with a system of national pavilions presents the most relevant innovation in the fields of architecture, urban planning, design, and new media. In attempt to pursue this target, Triennale Milano listened to the message of the European Commission that in October 2020 launched the project of a new European Bauhaus, a movement of thought, a platform, a call of participation that aims to involve cultural institutions, universities, associations, and the widest possible pool of citizens. Guests of this format have been Germany, France, Netherlands, Finland, Czech Republic, and with all these countries, we tried with several high-profile guests, from museum directors to academics, from designers to architects and entrepreneurs, to start a conversation in order to collect opinions, ideas, comments, and once we will end this round, we will deliver these comments to the European Commission, because we think that our community has to participate, collaborate, and push the European institution, the European Commission, to include the biggest pool of design professionals in this platform that has, for us, a great potential. I now leave the stage and the mic to Teresa Inesta Orozco, Director of the Istituto Cervantes in Milano, in order to greet all of you and to introduce our guest. Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure for me to be here representing this conference dedicated to the Spanish design as a part of the series A New European Bauhaus. I would like to thank the Triennale for giving us the chance to participate in this very interesting dialogue. I would like to give my special thanks to the creator of this project and moderator of today's conference that I just talked right now, Marco Sanmicheli, which is a curator of design, fashion, crafts sector, and superintendent of the museum, the Museo del Disegno Italiano, and International Relationships Office of the Triennale. Thank you, Marco, very much. This lecture series is a very peculiar project that aims of turning Europe into a climate-neutral continent by 2050. The decarbonization of the economy implies enormous changes in the way we convive with our lives and our environment, and the great challenge is to visualize how this new reality should be. It must be sustainable, a circular economy, a quality experience, including aesthetics, and inclusive, as well as affordable. That's why the New European Bauhaus asks architects, engineers, artists, designers, and students to work on this common goal to create a new paradigm. Since today is dedicated to Spain, I would like to briefly talk a little bit about the design industry in my country, which is at its brightest in history. We have a large number of international recognized professionals working on different fields. 10 years ago, a national network of design association has been created, which allowed us to be part of the BEDA, Bureau of the European Design Association. In terms of education, we have a good amount of schools and degrees in design, and our companies have reached international awards for their strategic use of design, and we can proudly say that design represents 10.4% of our GDP in Spain. Actually, on May 10th of 2018, our Congress of Deputies unanimously approved a bill for promoting national design strategy. We are now consolidating a national design policy that will help to improve innovation and competitiveness in the sector. And as part of this political effort, we won Valencia as the World Capital of Design in 2022. But here we have 4 people with me today that have way more to say about the Spanish design. We have Quique Correcher, designer, member of the Valencia World Capital of Design, the designer Álvaro Catalán de Ocon. We also have Mapi Millet, the creative director of Gandia Blasco, and Pilar Vélez, director of Museu del Disseny of Barcelona. I would just take a little bit of more of your time to introduce them to you. First one talking today is going to be Pilar Vélez, and she is a PhD in History of Art and master degrees in Catalan language from the University of Barcelona and Artistic and Cultural Institution Management in ESADE, Barcelona and New York University. Is professor at UAB's Art Department, coordinator of the first master degree in museology in collaboration with the Barcelona City Council, lecturer at the University of Barcelona History of Art Department, is also a lecturer in the history of graphic art at the Elislava School, has been director of the Barcelona Graphic Art Museum, Frédéric Maret Museum, the Museum of Design of Barcelona, to now, since 2012. She's member of the Sant Jordi Catalan Royal Academy of Fine Arts, the Barcelona Royal Academy of Belles Arts, and deputy chair of the Catalan Association of Art Critics. Also, we have a second woman representing Spain today is Mapi Millet. She's specialized in interior design. It was her experience in design trends, products, development, and production control that led her to propose her expansion project for Gandia Blasco indoor brand, GAN. Since her incorporation, she has defined the trajectory of the brand. On the one hand, she selected designers with whom to collaborate and develops new craft techniques to offer them, thus strengthen the essence of the brand. Craftsman of the service, the first-class design. On the other hand, she introduced the concept GAN spaces, which envelop from a single rack in line with its design into multiple elements, modular system, and accessories that define complete space in which to live. As a tireless traveler, she's convinced that handmade products add quality to our lives and support those who make them. She devotes a great deal of her time to researching the crafts of the world, developing new techniques, and persists that will allow everyone, users and producers, to benefit from the soul of the handmade objects. We also have with us Quique Correcher, who's a designer and founder of the Filmac in 1992, along with other 2 partners. He's been working in his studio, currently integrated by 13 people, until present day. His works focus on communication and graphic design, specializing in branding. He's member of the ADVC, so the Valencian Association of Designers, where he was president from 2005-2008, co-director of the International Conference of Typology of Valencia, and part of the several advisory boards. Currently, he is the key representative of READ, the Network Spanish Designer Associations, TUBEDA, and member of the Valencia World Design Capital Association. He has published many articles in magazine, websites, and catalogs. He has taken part in a number of group exhibitions on design and typography, and his work has been selected for publications and awards. He has curated the Faculty of Fine Arts at the Chamber of Commerce of Valencia, at the Design Center of Castellón, at the Valencia Trade Fair and Technologies Institute, and so on and so on. He has been judge of the Príncipe Felipe Design Prime, the CDIM Award, and has taken part in the advisory board of the National Design Prime, Sant Jordi Prize, as well as the many other competition and contest judges. And finally, we have also Álvaro Catalán Ocon with us. He studied business management at the Madrid Complutense University, product design at the Istituto Europeo di Design in Milano, and later he graduates with honors for the Central St. Martin's College of Art Design in London. In 2004, he starts his own studio in Barcelona, where he designs La Flaca lamp, winner of the Design Plus Award in Frankfurt, and nominated to the Delta Awards in Barcelona. In 2009, he moved his studio to Madrid, where he also teaches at the Instituto Europeo de Design and is member of the DIMAC Executive Board. In 2007 and 2010, his designs are exhibited in the Salon Satellite di Milano and are winners of the Design Report Award of this last edition. Since then, he shows every year a new project at Spazio Rossana Orlandi di Milano. During 2011 and 2012, he conceives and develops the PET lamp project, which has been growing success since his presentation at the Rossana Orlandi in 2013. His project and his studio, Alvaro Catalán de Ocon, has been backed up several prizes and international nominations. His work is part of the design collections at the Centre Georges Pompidou and Centre National des Arts Plastiques in Paris, the National Gallery of the Victoria, Melbourne, M+ West Known Museum in Hong Kong, and the Denver Art Museum, and his design has been exhibited internationally renowned all over the world. Hope you enjoy this lecture.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm very honored that we are going to share the next 45 minutes with 4 of the best actors of the design community in Spain. Also because we are here to tackle the several aspects that the new European Bauhaus could offer to the design community, not just in Europe, but in the rest of the world. I would love to start with Pilar Velez, director of the Design Museum in Barcelona, also because when we hear about Bauhaus and we hear about design as a political agent, we often refer to museum as a possible framework where to hear stories with an historical perspective. So I would like to start with you, Pilar, in order to hear what was your reaction when you heard for the first time about the new European Bauhaus statement by the European Commission, and as museum director, how you would or are you already reacting to this statement? Please.
Thank you very much, Marco and Teresa, for your invitation. I comment my perception about the new European Bauhaus on our museums, our current museums. The new European Bauhaus is a good project, of course, a very important project for all. Above all, because it's a collaborative and interdisciplinary platform, because it invites all people to participate, that is to say, to think about the future of our grandsons, a sustainable and inclusive future. I speak from the world of art, design, and culture, from the world of cultural heritage, specifically from the design. We need transforming cities to spaces adapted to needs of the 21st century, and we must rethink our system. The general question of this great challenge is of great interest to cultural heritage professionals, and especially to those of us who have a responsibility to look after everything related to design. Because I am sure the museum can contribute to change. In our case, the Design Museum of Barcelona is a public museum of the city, of Barcelona City Council, very sensitive to all these issues in architecture, in urbanism, environment, mobility, all social issues. Our museum opened the doors in December 2014. The museum brings the collections of the 4 old museums, decorative arts, graphic arts, ceramic, and clothing and fashion museum in a new project. All the collections in a new discourse, in a new project. For the first 90, the old decorative art museums began to make a collection of industrial Spanish design. In fact, was the origin of the old project. And today it's still the only public collection on industrial design in Spain, our museum. Moreover, we have graphic design, fashion design, decorative arts, furniture, ceramics, metal, fabrics, etc. Like so many other European design museums that come from museums of decorative arts. In general, is the history. We share also our headquarters with BCD, Barcelona Design Center, and FAD, Fostering of Arts and Design, a very important association and from 19th century, from 1903, and with one collaborate in some programs such as Barcelona Design Week. Barcelona Design Week is the program, in the big program of the headquarters, and a public and private relationship. It's interesting this case because it's is their culture with more our culture, the commercial and the designers, the profession, and the museum, the heritage. In fact, the museum is a heritage center. Who creates the heritage? Who is the author of the future heritage? Designers, architects, craftsmen, who design and make designs that at some point will be considered cultural heritage for their social, technological, aesthetic contribution. And what is the role of contemporary design museum today? What is our mission? To educate. The museum is an active center, and it must be a center fully integrated into the environment in which it lives. Our mission is to study and disseminate to all audiences, or in other words, to be able to generate knowledge from this heritage. The museum is a resource center. In our case, our collections and our documentation center, a library and historical archive of design in general, have this function. They should be useful for the current designers and future designers, students, the profession. We are convinced, of course, that it is necessary to work in collaboration, in network with other design agents, to obtain true and practical results, especially with design schools and all professional sector, we say the design community. We work together. We need to work on education for change, and with other European museums, of course. We have some networks and we work together in some lines. What is our fit in with the new European Bauhaus? We are attentive to the social transformations and the role that the design and designers can play in it, to what they can and must contribute to it. This is our fit or our relationship with the new European Bauhaus project. In fact, since the opening of Barcelona Design Museum, we have this main line of reflection and research. How can design and designers change the world? Or can design change the world? Yes, it can. We need new designers, new makers, new users. How do we work? In collaboration with schools and universities, with agreements with universities, in international projects, local, national, sometimes. We collaborate in projects of all kinds, exhibitions, activities, conferences, publications, always from a critical point of view. I am sure the Bauhaus is the best model, a social inspiration, is a radical and revolutionary model, I would say. Together, through co-creation, we can find innovative solutions to the complex societal problems. Some examples. of our system. We sharing with other museums and other companies and other schools. Some exhibitions. Design for Life, 99 projects to the real world, paraphrasing Victor Papanek, the first temporary exhibition of our museum in 2015. It's an example to the first time we talk about the sustainability, the change of the climate, etc. The second, Design Does. Design Does is a co-production with Elizabeth School, Barcelona School of Design and Engineering, the first school of design of Barcelona and of Spain also. In 2017, they celebrate the forum, the International Forum of Design Schools about the future of design in our museum. Or in another exhibition, Victor Papanek, The Politics of Design with Vitra Design Museum in 2019, with a very important program with the schools, with all the design schools of Catalonia, and the result has been very, very well. All are very happy. And the last year, some months ago, we prepared emergency designs to combat COVID-19. Design can save your life is the leitmotif. An exhibition about the response of design to the health crisis caused by COVID-19, protective items, clinical machinery, communicative graphics. This initiative now are part of the Museal Social Design collection. We have a collection in this line, and I am sure the design has been and is useful. Designers have been key in the pandemic. It's a very very, very true. No? It's a very good fact. It's a very good fact. Now this exhibition is in Madrid Design Festival. But now we are preparing a new permanent exhibition about industrial design collection and common objects, local stories, global debates. And the topics are, we are talking about sustainable design, social design, cooperative design, emergency design, cooperation. And also we are preparing another exhibition focused on tree and wood. It revolves around the relationship between humans and the forest with a broad historical vision, but there is a large area devoted to current design application of wood in favor of the sustainability of the planet and as a foundation of the circular bioeconomy. Because this exhibition will open in October 2022. In 2022, Barcelona will be the European Capital of the Forest. The annual conference organized by European Forest Institute will focus on the circular bioeconomy. This is the leitmotif. Finally, a reflection post-COVID. During the lockdown, many digital, local, European, and international debates were organized about the role of museums. For example, with Applied Arts and Designer Museums Network, and all colleagues sharing the same concerns. A key question was, we are museums not essential enough? We are museums not essential enough? And some conclusions. We must work for everyone, not just a few, be more inclusive, to develop more participatory proposals, born not only from the inside, but to know how to grasp what is really interesting and what is useful for the public. We must be truly sustainable nearby spaces, and as we are also responsible for defending public sustainability. We must generate more social complicity, not only with the usual and specific audiences. Proximity needs to be enhanced. And we must to be able to offer services and resources that are only specific to the museum, both to the schools and to professionals and also to the general public. We must be essential. Finally, now, yes, I think it's very necessary to take advantage of the invitation to change perspective and to look at our green and digital challenges as opportunities to transform our life. And the design museums can contribute to it together with schools, designers, companies, architects, engineers, students, to rethink sustainable living in Europe and around the world, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pilar Velez, and thank you for sharing this message with us, which I would love to pick just two words: co-creation and participatory design. The fact that a museum can lead a chain of virtual attitudes between the different actors of the design community. It was also the energy that moved Triennale to arrange this kind of conferences. And I appreciated that you stressed the fact that in this social environment that is changing rapidly, not only due to the pandemic, but because the sustainable urgent matters are forcing us to change paradigms in different direction, is also including companies, because when we talk about design, we can't forget the private sectors. And that's also why we have invited with the Instituto Cervantes to take part of this conversation, Mapi Millet, Creative Director of Gandia Blasco. And we would love to give to her now the microphone and the stage, because of course, from a personal perspective, the reaction to the new European Bauhaus must have been slightly different. But for a company, the sustainable matters and the processes were already changed before the launch of this platform. Please, Mapi, to you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you to have me here. As you know, I'm Mapi Millet, Creative Director of GAN, not of Gandia Blasco. Gandia Blasco is the group, and we have three brands. Two brands, Gandia Blasco and Diabla, makers of outdoor furniture, and we are the company's indoor brand. We make handcrafted rugs and other home accessories in India. I have known and worked with Indian crafts for 25 years, and I am in love with handmade products because I think they bring a unique warmth into our lives, one that transmits the energy of the artisan who made it. And precisely because crafts are my passion, from the beginning, I showed that if we wanted them to survive, we had to help them evolve, to adapt to the times and the taste of the current customers. And the way to do it for me was clear, was through contemporary design in one side, and in the other, researching and developing new material and techniques. That is how our brand established its foundation on these three pillars. The Indian artisans who contribute their hands and their innate talent and deep knowledge of ancient techniques, the best designers in the world with whom we are really very proud to work, with their ideas and incredible creativity, and our team, who from the beginning was focused on evolving traditional techniques to achieve new results, on inventing some that did not exist, but we have sensed could work. And the more important in today's conversation is on developing sustainable materials that were in accordance with the times, and that they will support that change for the better that we want for crafts. And it works. GAN today is a well-known brand because its products are completely handmade and at the same time very innovative. together with other brands that share with us this point of view, we have succeeded. And craftsmanship evolves, and nowadays it's rare to find a designer who has not combined industrial production with artisanal production. So we believe this background gives us a unique point of view regarding the project of the European Bauhaus, especially in 3 areas: the material science, the realistic sustainability, and the international cooperation. So first of all, regarding the material science, when we started working in India a long time ago, it was almost a natural paradise, with no pollution at almost any plastic waste. Very simple and rural country, but not polluted. But in recent years, with the arrival of single-use plastic, tons of cars and pesticides, India was become one of the most polluted countries in the world. So our search for new materials and solutions for years now has been focused on trying to preserve the ecosystem, avoiding polluting more, and trying to reuse and recycle. For example, we have developed a felt manufacturing system that allows us to use wool from discards of other productions. It is based on a traditional felting technique that we are already been using, but we have made it evolve in a sustainable way. In the same way, for example, we have been replacing the polypropylene that we use to our outdoor products with recycled PET. It required an investment of time and money to find the right kind of thread, but now our collection contributes to reusing a material that would otherwise end up polluting the ocean. So we believe European manufacturers should use recycled materials in their new products, of course. But because of our experience, we are convinced that it's very, very important to make the effort to rethink their existing products, checking and researching and investing to improve them from the composition standpoint through the entire production process. Second, in terms how to move forward in sustainable but realistic economy. All our collections are made in India, as I just explained to you, and we never stop researching and investing to improve our material production processes, transportation, and social projects, trying always to ensure that the local community and the environment are positively affected by our business. But we adapt to the circumstances of a country as complex as India, where change things is hard and very slow. So we have to take the steps little by little. In our experience, there are 4 key points to evolve and to go to the path of sustainability. First is the well-being of the workers. Second is the constant improvement of the materials and production process. Third, the reduction of pollution during shipping, and the optimization of our marketing actions. And I think this is applicable to any business anywhere in the world, in Europe as well. But the first thing we have, entrepreneurs, is to be realistic. Either we change radically and consume only what we produce in our proximity, or the sustainability of a product will never be 100% real. And because starting from scratch is a utopia, so we have to start by recognizing that our system is also complex and full of failures. So we must to be patient, constant, honest, and have a plan to improve the sustainability of our companies. Assume, and this is very important, that it will have a significant cost and maintain it over the time. Obviously, designers are our essential travel companions, and all of them are fully involved in it at the moment in improving the production process and the footprints of our products. There are those who no longer accept projects that are not environmental conscious with the environment, or that do not involve a change in favor of sustainability. So they want to gradually change the footprint of the products that accompany us every day. And they are right, because this will work too. We know from the company point of view that our customers will want to feel more and more that the purchase make a difference and will choose the most conscious brands. I believe that in the not too distant future, we will all buy less, but we will buy better. And third and last, we can share with you for this project of European Bauhaus, our experience in international cooperation. Something we must celebrate is the difference between European countries. We all have different abilities and skills, and we can take advantage on to drive a project forward. Industry, climate, different schedules, also character, tradition, crafts, everything that makes us different creates a wealth of knowledge that we can use to solve things. Because something that may be a problem for one can be a very easy thing to solve for the other. So to give you a concrete example that what I mean, let's take our recent project with Patricia Urquiola and the Melbourne National Gallery of Victoria, in which 4 different countries worked together. This is an installation commissioned by NGV Melbourne for its triennial, designed by Patricia Urquiola and manufactured by us, focused on sustainability. So Patricia conceived some modules to lie down and relax while contemplating the magnificent stained glass ceiling of the building, the work of the artist Leonard French. And the theme was the reutilization of resources. All the materials are processes that were involved have to be sustainable. 4 countries and 3 continents were involved in this project. From Italy, where Patricia and her team live, she was in charge of the design, of course, and supervision. We from Spain coordinate and plan the execution. India is where the development of materials took place. Our artisans were willing to change their processes and try different options to bring Urquiola's idea to life. And Australia is who commissioned the exposition, where you can see it today. Australian people, they are experienced with long distance work. They are resilient in face of adversities. And of course, they provided the economic support for the project. The entire project was developing in 2020, last year. The world was surprised by the consequence of the pandemic, in which we are still immersed, and we started the collaboration in a state of shock. It was a very complicated process, full of obstacles and uncertainties, but that put us all to the test. But when one could not, usually because of the regulation, of the quarantines, of different moments in the different countries, the other knew how to solve it. Or even if they don't know, they had the courage that the rest of us lacked. So we were all patient, constant, empathetic with each other's situation in each moment. We had a common goal, and each one brought the best of their abilities to the process at all times, with total flexibility. It was magical. And the installation is open today, having a sensational reception and making museum visitors happy every day.
Mappy, do you have a picture to share with us so we can see it?
Let me try if I can.
You must be allowed to do it.
Yeah. So let me try if I can. Let me try a little. No, it's not open. Let me try a moment. I'm going to make you small first to open my PDF and then I will. Okay.
Must be on its way. It's also very interesting because while you're working on it, I can say from Triennale points of view that here we are. Here we see Patricia Occhiola. Yeah.
Let me open completely. Okay. Can you see?
We can see.
I get it. Okay, so here you can see Patricia in the first step of the project with her desk full of socks because the inspiration was socks. So she's here with one of the first step. Then the picture is the process when we use this recycle and reused wood material. The other picture is when we in Spain, when we in Spain, we are finishing the packaging. Then we have people, you can see people in Australia starting to put in the place the big carpet, which was sending in parts. And the general image is the project that was done in Patricia's studio.
Thank you very much, Mapi. We need to go further because the time is running. Thank you for sharing this picture. As I was saying, Triennale and NGV Triennial in Melbourne are partners because during Broken Nation 2019, the Australian pavilion work was then acquired by NGV Triennial. So the relationship is quite strong. And we're also happy that during the European Bauhaus Spanish episode, we could share the work of a Spanish talent based in Milano and also part of the scientific committee of our museum. Thank you very much for your intervention. And it was interesting to hear how from Pilar Velez, we start to talk about co-creation. And then with you, we heard of specific case studies of our company works in terms of dealing and working with communities, and then starting from sustainable materials to relate to territories in a very practical way. And on this level, I would love to pass immediately to Quique Correcher, designer and board member of the Valencia World Design Capital 2022, to hear from him how all these perspectives, always in the framework of the new European Bauhaus, in his opinion, can relate to urban and social policies in an environment like a big city like Valencia. And you as part of the Valencia World Design Capital, if you can share with us if you're already thinking to relate to territory as it seems as to be the behavior of the design community in order to face all the challenges of this present time. To you, Quique.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be with all of you. Yes, we're thinking a lot about it and working and talking about it. In fact, our first reaction was a big surprise because, you know, it's not that usual to hear the word design in a political discourse. In fact, it's really, really strange. And this one was at the highest level. So we were really amazed. And not only the design mentioned, but there was the Bauhaus. I think that we designers are like very sensitive about the Bauhaus. Maybe more than architects, for example. There's a lot of mythology about the Bauhaus being like the birthplace of design as we know it. Also, I know this vision is quite narrow and Eurocentric, but for many designers, the Bauhaus was like the symbol of design. Of course, this concept of Bauhaus is a problematic word, but I guess we will comment about it later. But the second reaction was, of course, to share the news with everyone. As you said before, I'm involved in the Valencia World Design Capital organization, but as well in the Valencian Designers Association, the network of designers associations in Spain, and VEDA. And some of them have heard von der Leyen's words, some hadn't, but there was a lot of buzz about it. And so the next reaction was like, wait a minute, what did she really mean? Because is she talking about a real project, or is she just using a cliche like they are going to be very creative or something like that? Do they even know what design is? Because this reference to style raises all the warning flags. Are we getting too excited about this? Are we overreacting to von der Leyen's words? And then slowly in the next weeks, we started to learn more about the project, and finally the website was published and everything was a little bit clearer. From the Valencia World Design Capital point of view, I would like to start by making clear that the Valencia World Design Capital project is not an institutional project. It started from a group of designers, companies, and civil organizations. It's true that we had the support of the mayor of Valencia and from the president of our regional government right from the beginning, and that we've had an enthusiastic response from everyone. But ultimately, it has been a bottom-up grassroots movement, and still is. We at the Valencia World Design Capital started with these two strong principles. The first one was that if we were going to compete for the title, it's World Design Capital, it's a big title, the most important thing, the most important part of this process, it was that we needed to be worth it. We wanted to focus on becoming a real design capital, so that if we didn't get elected, our efforts would not have been in vain. And you don't change a city in a couple of years, obviously, you just start the way. Consequently, the second strong principle was that we were not just organizing a big event in 2022. Of course, we were. 2022 will be full of activities and events, but we knew that we were activating a process of transformation through design. We strongly believe that design can improve. Good design, of course, can improve people's lives. We know that our society is facing some big challenges, and it's true that cities are at the center of all these concerns. So if we could have the resources and the support to use design to prototype new ways of living and working together, maybe we could prove that design is the way. Actually, we've been starting lots of projects and activities in a participative way, some of which will take place in 2022, but also this year already, and even once the capital is over. We've already made 2 calls of proposals and received a lot of very interesting and viable projects, some of which have been started already. Apart from our own internal projects and signature events, and the team is really, really busy right now. Right now, we have started more than 100 activities. I can see 18 city interventions, 21 exhibitions, 21 media editorial initiatives, 20 encounters, 8 signature events, 10 special events, 6 transversal projects, and 15 project launches, as you see, a lot of initiatives. And we think our project is very, very in line with the values of the new European Bauhaus. What I like the most of this project, the new European Bauhaus, is that this is a strategic approach, a long-term effort. This is great for us designers because we usually don't like to be told, design this thing for me. We prefer to be told, solve my problem. So we can have a more wide approach to the situation and see what should be decided or not, and start a conversation about it. In this sense, the new European Bauhaus is great because they are setting the goal, a completely decarbonized society by 2050. They are not even stating the actual problem. This opens the possibility of reframing the problem itself and looking at it from different perspectives, which is the thing that we designers like to do. The consequence is that we don't really know what will come up from this. My feeling is that there's already a lot of technical knowledge on how to do things correctly, or on how to solve certain problems, but there is not enough thinking and insights and visions of what the consequences will be for the human experience, our everyday lives, our landscape, our well-being, or for things like inclusion, diversity, human rights, etc. And this idea of the new European Bauhaus is very, very powerful. The idea of trying to foresee the future instead of facing a huge systemic change from a technical point of view, just to realize that the outcome of this transformation is a dystopia, which is basically what happened after the Second Industrial Revolution and the First World War, and the pandemic, the Spanish flu, etc. That's the moment where the original Bauhaus was born, and maybe too late. And well, this is why I think that this is a cultural project more than a technical one. In any case,
oh, sorry, Kike, please finish your.
Now, in any case, I see here a great opportunity for design professionals to be the ambassadors for the shift to a circular economy. Because if we really want to change the economic model to a circular one, everything must be redesigned. And I mean everything from physical objects to services, processes, and organizations, including the way we use them. But the challenge here is that we must redesign everything according to what rules. There are many gray areas in this idea of the circular economy where designers can have a crucial role if we are able to train them, to train us in the existing knowledge and allowing us to fill the gaps with creativity and design.
Thank you very much, Kike, especially for underlining how many bullet points we have in our to-do list in order to accomplish at least part of the mission. But let me refer to a specific aspect that is probably one of the biggest critics that the design communities in general during our appointments move to the new European Bauhaus platform, which is the idea that it seems to us quite European-centered. And in this sense, what you just said about the work that Valencia World Design Capital is doing is to work on the idea of inclusivity. And including and being inclusive means also to think design in a lateral way, and also to have other voices that for long they didn't participate to the community. And also I could hear this also in the case study that Mapi Millet was telling, like when you work with the Indian community and how this worked change in the past 25 years, not only because the landscape and the context change, but because you have new knowledge and you have new things to consider in order to being inclusive. So this is absolutely among the elements that we are going to bring to the attention to the European Commission from the Spanish side. The inclusivity and the sustainable materials and the working with communities is something very, very close to your heart. But the last slot is dedicated to Álvaro Catalán de Ocon as a designer. And we heard a museum director, an entrepreneur, a graphic designer, but also in this role, Kike Koracher was speaking as a spoken person of the Valencia World Design Capital 2022. I would love to hear from Álvaro what is his opinion about this platform, also because the new European Bauhaus, it is now in a design phase. And if we see it as a platform, if we see it as a school, if we see it as a element that will connect the different community from his design perspective, I would love to hear what you would love to add to this platform. It is a content, it is a subject, it is a way of being conscious environmentally, not only, but I'd like to hear, because in your work, you've always been very careful on material sustainability and behaviors, which is also very important aspects in the design process.
Yes, well, thanks for the invitation, and thanks for helping everyone to think around this this new opportunity with the new Bauhaus. I usually show my work when I talk about in public now. I'd rather talk more about my fresh impressions on how I thought about this new proposal, and I wrote some key points, some key bullet points. No, so let's go through them and see what I can actually add to all of what you've talked. No, well, to begin with, I'm Spanish. I studied in the Instituto Europeo di Design in Milan under the Bauhaus principles. No, they were very proud of having those principles as part of their education, and then graduated in London in Central St. Martin's and set up my studio in Barcelona and then moved back to Madrid. No? Well, we take this now for granted, but it's an incredible move forward. Being able to move in this way in Europe and be able to share your ideas with such different perspectives. No, Europe is so rich in cultures, in languages, in ways of understanding design in so many ways, and now we can actually it's open to everybody, which is something we take for granted, but now we should think on what could the next step be. No, and design should definitely can be a main player. No, the Bauhaus was born in between the wars, and there was a need for products. No, so there was a need for cheap quality products, and industry was used to cope with this problem. And the Bauhaus masterly combined it with crafts and other ways of artistic expressions. No, and somehow this necessity shaped the Bauhaus, and it also shaped the way we understood design for many years after. No, but it was an object-based way of designing, I think. It was the objective of the activity as a designer was designing an object, no? And our needs today are very different, and our new Bauhaus should definitely also be different, no? Europe can claim that we believe in design not as a marketing tool, which I think is very valuable. And we tend to run away from styling, no? So those are principles from the Bauhaus which we can encourage and take now for granted in our design education. For us, design belongs to a humanistic profession, closer to the arts and in close contact with industry. But we are the middleman who humanizes objects and industry. We are in a very important and relevant position in society, and we owe this to the Bauhaus in a way. We need to apply the same honesty and coherence that the Bauhaus applied to the objects into the whole of the design process, I think, at the moment. We need to have a holistic perspective towards design versus an object-based way of designing. Maybe it's not the right name to use. Let's have the Bauhaus behind, let's leave it behind and learn from it to build a new design thinking for the future. And now, teaching has become a business, no? So I think that this has to radically change to create the best professionals for our future. There are way too many design universities, and let's not create another one. We should shape it differently to the original Bauhaus in a way. The new Bauhaus should focus on understanding and communicate the real values of design, which is not at all taken for granted. I think that there's a lack of understanding on what design really is. We are a very young profession. We haven't got the background of architecture, for example, which has been made by humans since the very beginning. No? So there is still a lot to teach around it. No? And hopefully, let's hope that this new Bauhaus teaches politicians about its importance. No? And have a clear criteria on what quality design is. No? It's probably, I should say, in the 5 top activities where a euro should be invested, as it affects to too many players. So let's focus on less but better. We are not going to be the factory of the world anymore, and excellency is difficult to copy, but it easily contaminates what surrounds it. So maybe that's, I think, one of the successes of Italian design. You believe in excellence, and everyone tries to keep up with it. And this raises the media quality, which is what really can affect society. There are also exceptions in Italy, though, so there's still work to do. But I think that Italy is, in that way, someone who this new Bauhaus should learn, as well as German design, which is so technified and so quality-based in industry, with the use of the industry or the way the northern countries, they use materials. We are now in the possibility of joining all of these forces and create, I think, what European design should somehow be like. You know? We need our ideas to be done well and show the rest that it is possible. The process is becoming more and more important than just the object. And design has an incredible power to communicate, and there's a space for products which are manifestos, talking about contemporary issues as well as serving a functional purpose. We have just passed a stage of radical globalism, and maybe we should rethink how to reinvent it, you know, balance it with localism as well, to become this so-called glocal, no? And now probably it's the time to make the best out of that idea. I have noticed from our personal experience in the studio, that buyers are starting to reposition their priorities when buying an object. Before, the first decision, it's still now, is if I like the object, but now it's how it has been done and by who and where and with which materials and how all of that has been treated. And then they ask for the price, no? And we need to understand and care for materials and using them with high-end quality industry to make the best and the long-lasting products. So, for example, we should tangle with this project the use of one single-use products, no? And maybe avoid have that challenge as a starting point and many others, and try to change it with biodegradable materials, no, you say? So there are lots of challenges nowadays which we need to tangle, and this project is very exciting to see that it comes from the top of the politicians in Europe, and I hope it spreads the message. I hope it teaches about quality, it teaches about having a clear criteria on design, and create new players and new professionals for the future. And I hope that Europe plays a role of being in the top of those aspects rather than maybe on mass production as it has been before.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. And we are used to say in the design world, please, not another chair, but trying to quote you, I would say, please, not another school. And yes, in this sense, if we need to develop so many good concepts and design discourses that they are present in our community, such as localism, it's time to develop all the good intentions that have been shared, not just today, but in general in conferences, books, exhibitions, and in the academic environment. we are running a bit late today, and I would love to say to our guests that the chat is open if they want to address questions. We are not able to reply to the question live, but we will collect everything and reply directly to you with the answers of the different guests. I just asked very quickly to Teresa Ernesta Orozco, co-host of this evening, director of the Instituto Cervantes in Milan, to say a little statement, a little comment, and a little goodbye before ending our conversation, and then I will do my final remarks. Please, Teresa.
Thank you very much, Marco, and thank you all the guests that we have been today. Actually, I just want to say very briefly that I'm feeling very proud today of being Spanish. I just, hearing all our guests, we have just to say that all the statements that we've been talking about the Bauhaus, we're already working on them in the different, fields that are represented here, which I think makes me feel like we're in the good path and absolutely on the same line of the rest of the Europe. And well, and that's it. So we're very grateful about hearing how they're just in their different, fields are working on the on sustainability and quality and design. So just to say like this, and thank you very much to all of you for being here today with us.
Thank you very much, Teresa. And I would also say thank you to all the guests, also to all our audience that has been following us for the 1 hour and 10 minutes of our conversation. And I also feel very, in somehow, reassured by the fact that we are an existing network, and there's a lot of incredible minds in Europe, and not only that they want to contribute to this idea, because design is not only a matter of aesthetic, it's not only a matter of being comfortable in our homes or interiors or enjoying our cultural offer when we go out in the weekend, but it's something that can build bridges in different directions, such as urban policies, such as a new way of conceiving industries and commercial exchanges. So I'm confident that these are not just words whispered in the wind, but will be a possible chance to feeling as a community in Europe, not only as designers, intellectuals, but as citizens altogether. So thank you very much to Pilar Velez, to Álvaro Catalán de Ocon, to Quique Correcher, and to Mapi Millet, and also to Teresa Ernesta Orozco. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Bye.